Hello everyone, welcome back to Machines Visit. But before we begin, here's something most people don't realize. Every single year, the world produces over 4.4 million tons of cocoa. That's not just a number. That's enough to pack more than 176,000 massive shipping containers with the raw seeds of something we casually eat every day, chocolate. Sounds simple, right? It's not. What you're about to see is a journey most people never think about. Today, we're taking you deep into the hidden world behind chocolate. It starts in hot, humid tropical farms where colorful cocoa pods hang quietly from trees, waiting. But harvesting them isn't just farming. It's precision, timing, and sometimes even risk. From there, the beans go through intense fermentation and drying processes, where the real transformation begins. And finally, they arrive at advanced factories where science takes over and turns them into the chocolate we love. But here's the twist. What really happens in between might surprise you. Cocoa comes from a tree called Theobroma cacao, a name that literally means food of the gods. And once you see the process, you'll understand why. These trees only grow in very specific conditions, near the equator where heat, humidity, and soil must be almost perfect. The pods themselves are strange, oval-shaped, thick, and colored in shades of green, yellow, red, or even deep purple. Inside, not what you'd expect. Instead of chocolate, you'll find beans covered in a sticky white pulp that smells surprisingly sweet and fruity. There are three main types of cocoa: Criollo, Forastero, and Trinitario. Each one has its own flavor profile, but not all are equal. Some are rare and delicate. Others are mass-produced and dominate the global market. And speaking of global production, West Africa alone, especially Ivory Coast and Ghana, produces more than half of the world's cocoa. Add regions like Latin America and Southeast Asia, including Indonesia and the Philippines, and you start to see just how massive this industry really is. Over 4.4 million tons every year. But very few people ever see how it truly begins. Harvesting cocoa isn't automated like most modern industries. In fact, it's still done by hand. And that's where things get interesting. This process isn't just physical. It's deeply traditional. Farmers don't rely on machines. They rely on experience. Knowing exactly when a pod is ready takes skill. Harvest too early or too late, and the entire batch can lose its quality. And here's the problem. Pods don't ripen at the same time. That means farmers must walk through the same field again and again, carefully checking each tree. The color of the pod becomes the only clue. Green slowly turns into yellow or orange. Red becomes deeper, darker. But even then, it's not always obvious. One mistake, and everything changes. Once ready, the pods are cut using machetes or specialized knives. But this isn't random cutting. One wrong move can damage the tree itself or destroy future growth. So every cut is careful, controlled, and deliberate. After cutting, the real physical struggle begins. Workers gather the pods into large piles, often carrying heavy loads across long distances in thick plantations. It's exhausting, repetitive, and far from easy, especially in large farms where the journey alone can drain your energy. But what comes next is even more critical. The pods are cracked open manually, usually with machetes or wooden tools. And this step is risky. Too much force, and the beans inside get damaged. Too little, and the pod won't open properly. Inside, you'll find clusters of cocoa beans surrounded by a soft, white pulp with surprisingly fruity smell. Workers carefully remove every single bean, because leaving even a few behind means waste. Interestingly, nothing here goes to waste. The empty pods aren't thrown away. They're reused to fertilize the soil, either through composting or direct application. It's a simple but powerful system that keeps the land alive for future harvests. This entire process, slow, manual, and demanding, reveals something most people overlook. Chocolate doesn't begin in factories. It begins with human effort. And despite how hard it is, manual harvesting is still preferred. Why? Because machines can't match the precision needed. The quality of the beans depends on it. And without that quality, everything that follows starts to fall apart. But harvesting is just the beginning. The real transformation happens after, once collected, the beans go through a critical stage, fermentation. This is where raw cocoa starts becoming chocolate, but not in the way you'd expect. Fresh beans, still covered in pulp, are placed in wooden boxes or wrapped in banana leaves. Then something unusual happens. Natural yeast and bacteria begin breaking down the pulp, generating heat. Over 5 to 7 days, chemical reactions take place inside the beans. This is where flavor is created. Without fermentation, chocolate wouldn't taste like chocolate at all. It would be bitter, flat, almost unrecognizable. But the process isn't passive. The beans must be turned regularly to ensure even fermentation. Miss this step, and the entire batch can be ruined. After that comes drying, another stage where things can go wrong quickly. The beans are spread under the sun on mats, trays, or concrete floors. Farmers constantly turn them to ensure even drying. This usually takes about a week, reducing moisture to around 7%. Too much moisture? Mold. Too little? Loss of flavor. There's no room for error. Once dried, the beans are sorted by hand. Defective ones, debris, or foreign materials are removed carefully. Then they're packed into breathable jute sacks, designed to preserve quality during long transport. These sacks are labeled with origin and grade, ensuring traceability as they move across the world. Because by this point, these beans are no longer just farm produce. They're the foundation of one of the most loved foods on earth. And every single step, from tree to transport, decides whether that final chocolate tastes ordinary or unforgettable. This meticulous process doesn't just protect the farmer's hard work. It quietly determines whether those beans will ever become great chocolate or just another average batch. And this is where everything changes. The transformation of cocoa beans into chocolate isn't simple. It's a controlled, almost surgical process where science, precision, and human judgment collide. Inside modern factories, powerful machines work alongside time-tested techniques, and every step carries risk. It all begins with roasting. Dried cocoa beans are carefully heated to unlock their hidden flavors and aromas. But here's the catch. There's no single formula. Temperature and timing are adjusted constantly, depending on the desired result. A lighter roast can reveal subtle fruity notes, while a darker roast pushes out deeper, nuttier tones. But the margin for error is dangerously small. Under-roast them, and the flavor stays locked inside. Overdo it, and everything turns bitter. Once roasted perfection, the beans move into a critical stage known as winnowing. This is where the outer shells are broken and removed. But it's not as simple as it sounds. What's left behind are cocoa nibs, the pure core of the bean, and the true foundation of chocolate. Using controlled airflow or mechanical systems, factories separate the light, fragile shells from the dense nibs with extreme precision. This step isn't just about cleaning. It's about control. Even slight impurities or inconsistencies can affect the final product. The nibs themselves are rich in cocoa solids and cocoa butter, and they carry the entire future of the chocolate within them. That's why winnowing isn't rushed. It's calculated, because one mistake here echoes through every stage that follows. Next comes grinding and refining, where solid nibs are transformed into something entirely different. The nibs are crushed into a thick, flowing paste known as cocoa mass, a mixture of cocoa solids and natural cocoa butter. But at this stage, it's still rough, gritty, and far from the smooth chocolate people expect. So manufacturers take it further, refining the mass down to microscopic particle sizes, using advanced machinery. This is what creates that signature melt-in-your-mouth texture. Without this level of precision, chocolate would feel coarse, almost unpleasant. Then comes conching, one of the longest and most misunderstood stages. For hours, sometimes even days, the chocolate is continuously mixed, aerated, and heated. And this is where the real magic happens. Harsh flavors are softened, unwanted acidity fades, and the texture becomes rich, smooth, almost addictive. Premium chocolates often spend much longer in this stage because the difference is something you can literally taste. Finally, the process reaches its most delicate phase, tempering and molding. Tempering isn't just heating and cooling, it's controlled crystallization. The cocoa butter inside the chocolate must form stable crystals, and that only happens within very specific temperature ranges. Get it right, and the chocolate develops that glossy finish and satisfying snap. Get it wrong, and it turns dull, soft, and unstable. Once tempered, the liquid chocolate is poured into molds, cooled carefully and shaped into bars, truffles, or bonbons. Each piece may look simple, But behind it lies an intense chain of decisions, precision, and effort. And when you step back and look at it, the global production of over 4.4 million tons of cocoa isn't just an industry statistic. It's a story of farmers working under harsh conditions, of processors carefully handling every stage, and of manufacturers pushing for perfection. Every single step, from harvesting to factory refinement, builds toward that final moment when someone takes a bite. So the next time you eat chocolate, don't just taste the sweetness. Think about the journey, because behind every piece is a process most people never see, and a level of effort most people would never expect. And maybe that's the real surprise. Hope you enjoyed the story of cocoa. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this, because the next story visit be even more unexpected.